2013, the coalition was elected on the back of a so-called debt and deficit disaster. 6 years later, the debt has doubled under your stewardship, and yet somehow we can afford billions of dollars of tax cuts far off into the future. When will the coalition take responsibility for their own period in government?
Well, we're absolutely taking responsibility and very proud of the fact that unemployment is lower than when we came to government, growth is higher than when we came to government, business investment is stronger than when we came to government, and debt, which we inherited, was rising faster than a jet fighter. I mean, now we've brought it under control.
Okay,
we just
have a few basic figures on the
Sure.
table here. This is from the RMIT ABC fact check. Net debt was $174.5 billion at September 2013, when the coalition took office with Tony Abbott as the Prime Minister, after 6 years of Labor government, that is. In October of last year, after 5 years of coalition government, it was $354.5 billion. So is it true or not true that net debt doubled in the time that the coalition was in office?
The truth is that the debt has increased, but now it is peaked and it is starting to be paid back with the first surplus in more than a decade. That's the reality.
But do you accept the logic that when you say we've now made the first payment on Labor's debt,
Correct.
what you really mean is we've made the first payment on Labor's debt and the coalition's debt, which were roughly the same in similar periods of government?
Tony, what you're failing to understand is when Peter Costello and John Howard left office, there was zero government debt. Okay, so that was all paid back, and it was very, very hard. So we inherited a situation where Labor had turned pristine balance sheets and zero government debt into a situation where government debt was rising and rising rapidly.
Why couldn't you do something about that in 5 years? Because in 5 years it doubled.
Because it takes a really long time to turn the ship around. And we inherited spending growth at around 4%. I mean, that's the reality of budgets, Tony, and we have brought it down to under 2% in rate of spending growth. That is a very substantial achievement, but most importantly of all, and what matters to people in this room...
What is the net debt right now?
It's around 18% of GDP, but it's coming...
What's the figure in billions of dollars?
Well, it's just over $300 billion.
Right.
And
what was it when Labor left office?
And it was less than that, as you say. But the reality is that what we have done is put down now the first payment on Labor's debt. That's the reality.
And your debt?
Well, it's on Labor's debt because when they came to government, there was zero government debt.